And welcome to Breakfast News. I am David Opopasale. The headlines this morning. Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency and World Bank begins disbursement of funds to communities benefiting from their social development program. Anambra State Ministry of Agriculture holds interactive session with new fisheries agency to reposition agriculture sector. Federal government approves execution of several power projects to engender electricity distribution in the country. Leading Egyptian pro-democracy activist sentenced 5 years ago without evidence released. Anambra State Government and the World Bank have presented a 30% kickoff fund each for the construction of a 3-kilometer feeder road at Umumbo, Ayamelum, and the teachers' quarter at Umuezanam, Anambra West Council area. The checks presented through the Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency, ANCSDA, with a total worth of more than 4 million naira is to start off both the road and teachers' quarter projects expected to go up a grand sum of over 17 million naira with subsequent 50% and 20% disbursements once the utility of the first grant is fully met. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe has more on the story, taken from here. Successful completion of the 7.94 million naira feeder road project at Umumbo and the 7.4 million naira teachers' quarter at Umuezanam. The second phase of the program, which is the renovation and the equipping of the Umumbo Community Health Center, worth over 1.6 million, and building of stores at Umuezanam Community Market, worth over 2 million naira, will commence. As it is with the program's implementation guideline, the benefiting community is expected to contribute a counterpart funding of 10%, while the government and donor body will take 90%. Presenting the checks to each of the two communities, the general manager of the ANCSDA, Mr. Chode Mojehu, said the benefiting communities were chosen from the Anambra State poverty map, with those who were first to indicate interest benefiting from the first phase of the program, which will contain 10 communities.
It shows a community in need who are happy to welcome those that are ready to assist them solve their problems, deal with their needs and the challenges. Umuezanam is a poor agrarian farming community that need help, and actually made a request to the state agency for assistance in 2 priority areas.
The traditional ruler of Umumbo, Igwe Simeon Chidubem, and the acting President General of Umuezanam community, Mr. Ameke Chumba, said the community choose the projects based on their immediate infrastructural needs and thanked the Anambra State Government and World Bank for the timely intervention.
First place, road is very, very important. Likewise, health center. But in anything at all, that is what we call scale of preference, or preferred road, because of the fact that we do normally follow that road to fetch water.
Speaking at each of the two communities, the Community Project Management Chairman of Umuezanam Community, Chief Vincent Okafo, and that of Umumbo, Chief Peter Okoye, said apart from ensuring that every penny of the money is put into the project, they will ensure that the project achieve the desired results.
We need teachers' quota to teach our children. See?
That I believe that the within now and they say some weeks or a month, we shall have enough dry spell to carry out a reasonable job this week.
The ANCSDA team and the community leaders also made inspection stops at the sites of the proposed projects, with works kicking off at each of them next week. The projects were independently chosen by the communities based on their scale of preference, while Umumbo and Umuezanam are the 4th beneficiary out of the 10 communities mapped out as beneficiaries of the program. Similarly, farmers in Yamdela, Sunumu area, Anambra East Council area may not suffer under intense sun or heavy downpour to ply their trade from next month upwards. This is because a CDM market is in the offing and likely to be completed in a month's time, courtesy of the Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency, NCSDA. Similarly, Enugu Aguleri would soon become proud owners of a civic center being constructed by the same agency. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike witnessed the official handover of the funds to these communities by the agency and now reports.
The Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency, an initiative of the Obiano administration, funded in conjunction with the World Bank, commenced the disbursement of checks for over 9 million naira worth of projects in each of the two communities, Umueri and Enugu Aguleri. According to the general manager of the agency, Mr. Chudi Mojehu, they just released 30% of the cost of each project to the communities, adding that more funds will be released in stages as the project advances. It is understood that apart from the seed yam market, Umueri will also benefit from a road rehabilitation project as well as construction of a culvert, while Enugu Aguleri will, apart from the civil center, get a community market built for them from the CSDP funds. Mr. Mojehu said same method of batch-by-batch release and monitoring of project implementation will be applied by Community and Social Development Agency across the 10 communities in the first batch as approved by the World Bank to ensure the fast-tracking of the stipulated projects plan and guidelines.
Well, one is what we commenced today is a prelude to the formal state launch of the project by His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, completion. Also, the communities have also shown willingness, ability, and readiness to also move at a very fast pace in terms of getting these projects implemented within a record time.
The agency kicked off the launch of disbursement of checks at Anambra East Council area with a courtesy call on the traditional ruler of Enugu Aguleri, Eze Chukwuemeka area, where they explain that Community Social Development Program project is community-driven development project that focuses on building and rebuilding social and natural resource infrastructural services at the community levels. For the Transition Committee Chairman of Anambra East Local Government Area, Honorable Pius Ifeadi, represented by Mrs. Chizoba Nwajagu, thanked the state government and World Bank for continuously investing in rural communities to alleviate the sufferings of the poor and assured that the local government council will keep an eye on the projects.
It's so fantastic. I don't know how to appreciate our Excellency for what he has been doing to the whole communities in Anambra State. Indeed, he's really governed. We so much thank him for all he has been doing. Even the local government chairman and the entire members there were so impressed, especially at this Anambra East local government.
In their various responses, the traditional ruler of Enugu Aguleri, Eze Chukwuemeka area, represented by Anebunam Udanyinya, and the President General of Umueri, Chief Pius Okonkwo, said that the choice of the projects will go a long way in the lives of the people, as the project chosen will seal a bond of unity among the community.
Very, very glad, deep heart in my heart. You know, they say many are called, few are chosen, and we happen to be among the chosen communities for this project. And at the end of the day, you all witnessed what happened, the signing of the check and in short, the commencement of the exercise, the construction.
It is worthy to note that the Community and Social Development Program is different from the State Government Community Choose Your Project initiative, where each of the participating community is allowed to select projects that could be delivered under a 10 million naira budget. From Umueri, in Anambra East Local Government Area, Chibuzo Obidike, ABS News.
A one-day interactive session between the staff of the Fishery Department, Ministry of Agriculture, and the Fisheries and Aquaculture Business Development Agency, FABDA, with the aim of repositioning the fisheries and aquaculture sector has ended in Oka. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Emenike Zinando, in a brief remark, lauded the leadership of Governor Willie Obiano for establishing an agency that deals solely with the fisheries and aquaculture production. Uche has the report.
Dr. Emenike encouraged the staff of the department to show more innovation in handling the challenges of the fisheries sector in the state.
He has therefore established the Anambra State Fisheries and Aquaculture Business Development Agency.
On his part, the managing director of FABDA, Mr. Emeka Ilohialu, noted that the objective of the baby agency was to reposition the fisheries and aquaculture sector for effective and efficient government, regulation, productivity, and growth. Mr. Ilohialu further revealed that the vision of the governor is to grow fish farmers into fish production companies.
His Excellency wants to see fish companies in Anambra State, and that's part of our major mandate. As it is now, at the moment, we have set to have this engagement as a monthly engagement.
Inoka Ushe reporting for ABS News.
And today, the education sector now, the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University has marked its 19th matriculation ceremony in a grand style. The event, which took place at the Bariam campus of the university, had various faculties independently and simultaneously commemorating the ceremony aimed at ensuring full participation of the students. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo was there and now reports.
On arrival at the university, ABS observed that each point of the ceremony witnessed huge turnout of the newly admitted students as well as members of faculty, relatives and friends of the newly admitted students who came to celebrate with them. Addressing matriculants of Faculty of Management Sciences of the institution, the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Greg Nwakobi, represented by the Dean of the faculty, Professor Godwin Akam, charged the students to always abide by the rules guiding the institution, keep their dreams and aspirations alive, avoid bad company, and shun courtesy in order to make their families proud at the end and actualize their ambitions.
We are delighted by your presence as witnesses to this matriculation ceremony. As we usually observe, there are two important landmarks in the lives of the students in tertiary institutions the world over, namely matriculation and convocation.
In their various remarks, the acting head of Department of Accountancy, Venerable Joshua Onora, and Mrs. Susan Onwuka advised the students not to be carried away by school life, but rather strive to graduate in due time with good grades, and assured them the management's full support.
We believe in integrity and probity. So my prayer for them is that they're going to come out great, both character-wise and academic-wise.
They should come to the school, face their studies. At the end of the year, 4, 5 years, whatever year they are, they graduate. Praise to God for that.
From Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Ibariam campus, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Still to come on the news, federal government approves execution of several power projects to engender secure electricity distribution in the country. Leading Egyptian pro-democracy activists sentenced 5 years ago without evidence released. Stay with us.
Here is a public service announcement. Anambra State government cancels collection of levies and fees in all markets in Anambra State. This is to inform the public that Anambra State government has cancelled the collection of all forms of levies and fees in markets and streets in Anambra State. The cancellation will be in effect until 1st June 2019. The 3-month cancellation period is to enable government and leadership of the various markets to deliberate and agree on a better and more effective model of collecting fees and levies in the markets. The public is hereby also reminded that the ban on sales of emblem is still in force. Anybody caught violating this cancellation and ban on sales of emblem will be arrested and prosecuted. This is for the attention of market unions and their leadership, traders, security agencies, and the public. Announcer, Mr. C. Don Adenoba, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment.
Welcome back to the news. The federal government has approved the execution of several power projects aimed at achieving more improvement in electricity distribution in the country. The The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, said this in a statement issued in Abuja by Mr. Hakeem Bello, his special advisor on communications. Fashola said principal among the approvals received from the Federal Executive Council meetings on the memos presented by him was for the Aso Villa to benefit from the eligible customer policy. He said the council also approved a distribution expansion program to take off part of the stranded 2,000 megawatts to provide dedicated power to the villa. Fashola said the intention of the ministry was to procure civil works that would facilitate uninterrupted power supply to the Aso Rock Villa. A leading Egyptian pro-democracy activist has been released from prison yesterday after serving a 5-year sentence for inciting and taking part in protests, his family and lawyer have said. Allah Abdel Fattah rose to prominence with the 2011 Arab Spring uprisings that swept the Middle East and in Egypt toppled longtime President Hosni Mubarak. To many, his imprisonment 3 years later at a time when authorities imposed draconian laws banning public gatherings and unauthorized demonstrations was another sign of Egypt's return to autocratic rule. Abdel Fattah was arrested in November 2013 and was eventually sentenced 5 years in prison in a trial that lasted more than a year. He was charged with organizing an illegal protest against military trials and assaulting a public officer. The court discounted evidence, including mobile phone records, which showed that Abdel Fattah was not at the protests. And from the world of sports, Nigeria has climbed to the 38th position in the latest FIFA Women's World Rankings released on the FIFA official website yesterday. The Super Falcons maintained their position as number 1 in Africa after amassing a total of 1,599 points and moving just one spot upwards from their previous 39th position on the 155-team rankings. The rankings is coming barely 3 months ahead of the Women's World Cup, FIFA World Cup, which is scheduled to hold in France from June 7 to July 7. The Super Falcons' current position was boosted by their third-place finish at a 4-nation invitational tournament in China and an impressive run in a 12-nation tourney in Cyprus. The reigning African champions ended the competition on a positive note with 2 wins and 2 defeats after beating Slovakia 4-3 and trouncing Thailand 3-0 to finish on the 7th position. The remains of the traditional ruler of Aguleri, Eze Christopher Idigo, has been interred in his Aguleri Palace. Speaking during the requiem mass held in his honor, Governor Willie Obiano extolled the monarch as a man who enthroned lasting peace in Aguleri Kingdom. Government House correspondent Ejika Abana reports that the mass was held at St. Joseph Pro Cathedral Catholic Church, Aguleri. The reports. In colorful displays and clothing, Igwe Idigo arrived at church in a motorcade and was received by Governor Obiano, his wife, and Aguleri cabinet members. Members of his immediate and extended family, Nde Aguleri, Anambra State ESCO members, House of Assembly members, Agba Faithful, led by its national chairman, Chief Victor, members of other political parties, top government functionaries, the academia, among others, attended the mass. The former Commonwealth Secretary General, Chief Emeka Ayoko, Senator representing Anambra Central, Chief Victor Ume, traditional rulers, among others, also attended the mass, celebrated by Catholic bishops, including Most Reverend Dennis Isuzo, Most Reverend Jonas Benson Okoye, Most Reverend Paulinus Ezokafo, Most Reverend Peter Obaleke, among other retinue of clergymen. According to Governor Obiano, Aguleri is not mourning because Ezidigo lived and ruled well, calling on them to rejoice in thanksgiving to God for his manifold blessings to the community through the gift of Ezidigo, because he is one of the best traditional rulers Aguleri ever enthroned.
When Aguleri said, Igwe ruled for 24 years, 24 years, and Aguleri were peace.
Earlier in a homily, Reverend Father Joseph Mwakobi, who prayed that Ezidigo's exit will sustain peace, unity, better relation in his family, Aguleri and neighboring communities, stressed that people should strive to live a good life, accommodate one another, and shun selfish quest for earthly gains, retarding growth and development.
Maybe I can guess what is going on in your
Surely some will say, it is not yet my portion. And some may say, back to sender. But I know it is not yet my portion, because I have a lot of things yet to do.
Speaking to the ABS, the member representing Ihiala 2 constituency at the State Assembly, Dr. Pascal Aborike and Chief Romiezo Onwuka joined voices to ask the governor and the Aguleri to initiate measures to sustain existing peace in the community. The mass featured prayers, offertory, choir renditions, among others. Eze Christopher of Idigo Royal Dynasty, who was born on November 25, 1944 and joined his ancestors on January 11, 2019, was the traditional ruler of Aguleri from 1995 to 2019. Meanwhile, few hours after the interment of Ikwe Christopher Idigo, a new traditional ruler has emerged for Aguleri community, Anambra East local government area. He is Eze Dr. Michael Idigo, a medical practitioner. Amaka Chibuzokoe has the report.
According to custom and traditions of Aguleri, the throne abhors vacuum. Hence, the presentation of certificates to Eze Dr. Michael Idigo to succeed Eze Christopher Idigo, the new traditional ruler who appeared immediately after the interment of his predecessor, was rallied round by his subjects, danced round Amigwe with Iweze dance, accompanied by other cabinet members, pronouncing him as Eze Udo Aguleri. Addressing the press from his throne, Eze Dr. Michael Idigo said, having worked with the late Igwe as secretary for 24 years, he has bestowed him with his virtues, which will be upheld in ensuring that peace, progress, and prosperity prevail.
In Aguleri, the throne is never vacant. As one Igwe is embarking on a journey, another one is coming out to take his place. It's an age-long tradition, and what you have witnessed here is nothing but keeping the tradition.
From Amigwe Aguleri, Anambra East Council area, Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTV. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Now the main point again. Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency and World Bank have begun disbursement of funds to communities benefiting from their social development program. Anambra State Ministry of Agriculture has held interactive session with new fisheries agency to reposition aquaculture sector. Federal government has approved execution of several power projects to engender electricity distribution in the country. We also told you from the foreign scene that leading Egyptian pro-democracy activist sentenced 5 years ago without evidence has been released. And that is the news. I am David Opopasale, thanking you for joining us this morning. The weekend show continues.